Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of my Cuba vlog. So if you haven't seen part 1, that will be linked up top and in the description box. But now, let the adventures continue. So today is our last morning in Cienfuegos, and then we're getting the bus to Trinidad. So we're going to go and have a look at the main square, which we've been to before to use the internet, but we haven't really looked at it properly, and it's where kind of all the main sites are. I love how many chairs there are for people to sit using internet. It's rather nice, it kind of brings people together to have it not in homes. So Cuba definitely has a lot of art, and you can see there's some kind of prints, but there's also a lot of people doing art. So I finally decided I bought a piece for my room, and it was so fun because it was the actual artist selling it. So definitely consider picking up a bit of art while you're here. They're mostly oil on canvas and they're really lovely. So we have arrived successfully in Trinidad. I've actually been really excited about this part because it just looks so amazing in all the pictures. And so far it seems to be living up to the hype. All the houses are really brightly coloured. It looks very, very local. I think it's definitely nice to get out of Havana and see a bit more of kind of real Cuban life. We're here for 3 days, so it's going to be quite a long visit, but we've got a few activities like a salsa class and a bicycle tour tomorrow, so hopefully it's going to be good. We're staying in a really lovely another kind of B&B, which is called a Casa Particular, and the host seems really, really nice. We've already had an amazing juice, so now we're going to go out and try and find some lunch. Here's our restaurant of choice, the Barcelona restaurant apparently. There's been a lot of Spanish football here. Well, we're very big fans so far of Trinidad. It's so brightly coloured, it's just, you just want to photograph everything. It's amazing, and there's lots of pedestrianised streets, which is nice without the cars on, but there are still the old cars. We just saw some music at sunset, which is lovely. We're going to try and find some dinner, I think probably with more music, and then tomorrow we can explore properly. We saw a market just closing down, so we'll probably check that out tomorrow, but so far Trinidad is a big success.
Azúcar, azúcar.
have a full day in Trinidad. Very excited. From the exploring we did last night, it looks awesome. And we're starting off with, our tour company has booked us on a bicycle taxi tour, which we're not too sure about because I think it's going to be, we just feel a bit weird like sitting on the back of someone cycling us around. But anyway, hopefully it'll be good. It'll get us kind of orientated around the town. So we've stopped here to look at one of the ration distribution shops, which is state run, and every month each family gets a selection of ration cards which they can use to get basics like eggs, salt, flour, apparently also tobacco, and then that's kind of your state allowance for the month. So he says it will probably only last each family a week, but then after that you buy from the private sector. So that's one of the things that the government run here, which I guess is kind of a sign of a more socialist country, but it seems to be merged with the private sector, so you can also buy privately as kind of additional. And he was also saying that there's now 2,000 B&Bs, Casa Particulars, just in Trinidad. So it seems like the private sector is really booming. A lot of people are running shops out of their homes, private taxi drivers. He's a private guide, whereas Aileen on the first day was a state-owned guide. So there's definitely an interesting merge of state-run and private-run industries. So an extra interesting thing that he said about the ration places is that in some ways it encourages entrepreneurship, because you have kind of a basic living wage in the form of food, so that you are able to become a musician or start a B&B, because I guess you don't have to work 24/7 in a factory to be able to feed your children, which I thought was interesting, that a socialist system has kind of become supportive of entrepreneurship. So that's a little side benefit. We've definitely noticed about Cuba is that they don't really seem to have race issues in the way that you normally see in England or America or wherever. You definitely, every orchestra or band that you see has got all kinds of different ages and colours involved, which is so nice. And even on really old pictures, if you look at a picture from the 40s or the 20s or a black and white photo, then it seems to just have a really big mixture of different people, which you don't see in places like England or America. It was really segregated at that time, so it's really interesting. There's just a mixture of everyone, and it means that everybody is totally mixed race, and that's kind of why now they don't seem to really have problems with racism. We've now come to the main square of the new town, which apparently is where all the government buildings are, the maternity hospital, another internet spot of course, and one place that is recommended to come to is El Rapido, which is Cuban fast foods. It's the Cuban McDonald's. I think there's also one in Santiago from when we were living there, but that might be worth a bit of a local experience. You also might notice when you're in Cuba there's quite a few people wearing head to toe white, and apparently that's people who've joined what he calls the Africa religion, where for the first year since you join you have to wear white head to toe every day. So there's lots of shops that only sell white, and they look kind of beautiful walking through the town next to all the really brightly coloured houses. So this bust is the guy who's known as the father of Cuba, because apparently he was very wealthy and he chose to free all of his slaves to use them as an army to rise up against the Spanish. And in fact apparently at one point his own son got taken hostage by the Spanish, and they said, we'll kill your son if you don't stop being a revolutionary, and he said, I have 1 million sons, and he was obviously referring to the population of Cuba, and his son was executed, but of course they won and the Spaniards were overthrown, and so that's a pretty amazing story. So I think he deserves his title as father of Cuba. Well, we just stopped for a little ice cream in there, and that's the first place we've had even half decent ice cream, so we definitely recommend that place. I had the yogurt flavour, it was excellent, definitely much better than the place we went to in Cienfuegos, which was kind of like a boarding school jail. So we've come just slightly away from the square and just found the most fabulous little warren of brightly coloured houses. There's way less tourists here, maybe because we're here kind of in the evening. I think it's about 6 p.m, but it's just so photogenic. This is definitely my favourite part of Trinidad so far. It's also where the market is, so you can follow the market, pick up some stuff from some local artists and see the most spectacular coloured houses. It also seems to be like a bit of a thing from here, from Trinidad, the bars over the windows and the doors. I got a really cute postcard that's kind of a collection of them all. So if you want to go and collect some of that fabulous juxtaposition, they're really gorgeous. A must-do in the evenings in Trinidad to come and sit on these big steps by the cathedral, listen to the music and enjoy the sunset. It's beautiful. There's always a different live band. Good morning, welcome back to Trinidad. So today we are starting off the day with a salsa class. So I have mustered my most salsa-y outfit possible and hopefully it's going to be really fun. All we've got is flip-flops, so I don't know how well we're going to be able to move, but it should be a good chance to practice a fun local skill, and then after that we're going to take a nice chilled day. Well, we had great fun in our salsa class. I hope I managed to get some footage of us not looking too terrible. She was a very good teacher though, because obviously I've danced quite a bit and the others haven't danced at all, but we all managed to move along together and I think we learned quite a lot. So our salsa teacher from earlier apparently also is in a band, because it seems like everyone in Cuba is a super talented musician, and she is playing today, so we're going to go and watch her now.
Well, I was close. Ahí viene el taxi.
So today, as you can probably tell, we have come to the beach. So we got our B&B owners to book us a taxi, which was $20 for a return. He just waits for us and brings us back later. No idea if that's the going rate, but that's what we paid, and hopefully the B&B owners made a bit of a cut from that. And so we've come to Ancon Beach and it looks gorgeous. So we've got sun lounges, $2 each, and we're gonna just spend the whole day here. On the Ancon Beach is very good. It's not particularly busy. If you want to come to this exact part, then we got dropped by our driver at the Ancon Hotel, which is just literally right here, this yellow one. People do come along selling little bits and pieces. There's been a few bits of pizza and stuff for sale, but mostly I think you need to go probably a bit further out away from the beach to get food. But it's really beautiful. The ocean is lovely and warm. If this is winter in Cuba, then I definitely don't think you need to come in summer. It's currently December and the weather is baking hot, so I would definitely recommend coming in winter, but Ancon has been absolutely beautiful. Highly recommend. So we've come to a little town on the way home and we've come to a nice, very local restaurant, which our driver says is his favourite, so fingers crossed it's gonna be good.
Oh, yeah.
Very good. So we've popped in to buy a piece of art from this amazing artist. Definitely recommend trying to pick up some art while you're here. I've got some, Dad's got some, we're slowly collecting. So we're back in Trinidad, we've had a bit of a chill out, and now we've got our final evening of music. We've been recommended by our driver to come to Casa de la Trova, which apparently is the best one for music. So you have to pay one kook each, which is $1 each, and then you get to see all 3 bands. So there's one today at 8:30, 9:30 and 10:30, and you get a stamp so you can come and go. So hopefully it's going to be good. Recommend that place. It was really good to have 3 different bands. It was only $1 for your ticket and you can come and go as you please if you want to go get some food somewhere else. It was really good and there was loads of people dancing, and I think some of the local guys dancing there were teachers, so I even got up and joined in the dancing, which, I mean, I dance loads but I find unchoreographed dancing very intimidating, so I got up on the stage and I did the dancing, which was a bit of a like do something scary each day situation. So welcome back to another colourful and crazy day in Cuba. Today we have arrived in Sancti Spiritos, so we're checking out another town. We're here for one night, so we've got the whole day tomorrow as well. So someone left a Lonely Planet in our room, so we've immediately come to the first restaurant recommended, the Lonely Planet. So hopefully it's going to be good. So far it looks like a crazy banquet hall, and even the chairs have got like cowhide on, so hopefully it'll be good. We're eternally fascinated by how money kind of doesn't get you very far here. I mean, of course, you know, we have more money as tourists than some of the local people, and there's things that you can do, but it's not like if you moved here and you were rich, you could just buy whatever you wanted. The things just aren't available, and when you go into like a cosmetic shop that I just went into, there's just one type of shampoo and that's all you can buy. And I've never experienced a socialist or communist country before. Mum and Dad have been to Russia, so they say it's quite similar to that, except tropical. But it's weird to have such a like party, celebratory country also have this like communist socialist system where you can't buy anything however much money you have. So it's a country of total surprises all the time. We still haven't quite worked out how everything works. We've seen everyone with these cakes, we're calling them pie face cakes. They just look like they should be pied in someone's face, but I can't believe he's gonna take it on the bike. They seem to be something to do with New Year's. Oh no, just walk. We're not sure whether they're for birthdays or New Year's, but it seems like everybody has them, so it's obviously the thing to do, but they're all trying to balance them on mopeds or on the horse and cart, and it's just begging to be pied in someone's face. So the exciting news of today is that we've managed to buy a 5-hour internet card. They don't cost any more, it's $5 for 5 hours or $1 for 1 hour, and we managed to get it in the proper shop. So if you're going to queue up for the proper shop, definitely just try and get a 5-hour one instead of 1-hour ones, because you just switch it on and off whenever you need, so you can just use it in 10-minute stints or whatever you like. And now we're surely going to be good for the whole holiday. The hotel is next door to an arcade and everything is free today, I guess because it's New Year's, but they've got really fancy like Xbox 360 where it's kind of VR, so you just hold on to a steering wheel, or there's an Olympics one where you like run and it knows that you're running. This country is just constantly surprising. Like, how is there super modern technology but then you can't buy Coke or shampoo because it's all sold out? It's a mystery. So I thought you might like to see inside one of the casas that we've stayed in. This is probably the nicest one we've stayed in. It normally feels more like somebody's home. This is more like hotel level, but this is the kind of place that we've been staying. So if you want to see how it compares to a hotel, we definitely think the Casa Particulars are a good way to go because they will cook you dinner, and it's like staying in someone's home. It's kind of a way to support local people rather than just staying in the big hotels, but now you know what it looks like. So we've arranged to have dinner in our casa tonight, so they're going to cook for us. Hopefully it's going to be really awesome. I think she's been preparing all day, so I'm sure it will be. Good morning everyone, and welcome to Sancti Spiritos. Today we are going to explore the town and check out some of the museums because apparently they are entertainingly cringe. So we've heard that there's one, I think the Natural History or something, which is just a crocodile and some shiny rocks. So we're going to check out some of the museums and the streets. This is supposed to be similar to Trinidad but much less touristy and kind of a bit more untouched. So hopefully it's going to deliver. Pretty cool art along this riverside, so I definitely recommend walking along. We crossed over the yellow one and then we came through a bit more of a kind of local residential part of town for like 2 minutes, and then we crossed back over on a blue one, which is a weir, and now we're walking back along, and there's pretty cool art. It's very creative, so I'd recommend taking 10 minutes to come out of the town centre to see this bit. I feel like we managed to explore a lot of Sancti Spiritos today. We went kind of out of the centre of town into some of the more residential areas, which was really interesting to see. It's definitely, Trinidad is much more touristy, so if you come here you get kind of really stuck in with the locals, and it's been a bit quieter today because it's New Year's Day, but still we've managed to see what it's really like to live here. We had pizza at a very local joint and even some ice cream. So we keep saying that Cuba is infinitely confusing, and I wanted to give you a quick little demo of the kind of experience you might have trying to find somewhere to eat dinner. So you'll be thinking like, oh, this looks nice. There's a little menu. Let's find out. And then you start to wonder, is this a reception area? Could it be up there? No, I guess I'll go down what looks like the toilets. You're thinking, surely not. Surely not. But if you go far enough, you find a beautiful little courtyard. That's exactly what you were looking for. So actually in the end it even turned out that once we got in there, they don't have any food. There was no burgers, no pizzas, no chips, basically nothing off the menu was available. So it's just always surprising. Success. We have found somewhere right by the river. Let's hope they'll serve us. Oh, they're cooking it right in front. Today we are in Remedios, but this morning it's been raining almost all day, so we haven't really gone out, but now it has stopped and we are going to explore. Someone's very sweetly put an umbrella over for this dog who's got tiny puppies. Birds in the roof. So apparently on Christmas Eve this town has a very big festival, and we believe this is part of it. So it all lights up and they have fireworks, I think. So if you happen to be in Cuba on Christmas Eve, then apparently Remedios is the place to come to. There's also one on this opposite side as well, and they look pretty awesome. So we're kind of gutted we weren't here for Christmas Eve, but I think there's also a festival in the summer, which they have a big event here for. So actually it's quite a small town, but it's a really good place to come for Christmas Eve. This town definitely has some very beautiful, really old things. If you like photographing old wood and old doors, then this is going to be the one for you. Not much of it has been restored, but it's kind of beautifully crumbling rather than just a bit industrial or worn down. We're gonna check out the most adorable ice cream place ever. Look, it's so cute. The menu is all on Santas.
This just gets better and better.
I know.
You're waving it around.
Dad's trying to get the perfect selfie. Would you like one of us to take it? These girls don't know what's hit them.
Would we be tipping it?
We've had our first piece of the Cuban local money. Look at that. They're so cool. Anyway, so this is the money you're not really supposed to be given, but she doesn't have the right change. It's got faces on rather than buildings, so it's the local one. Dad's brought some fish and now he's absolutely mobbed. You haven't even given any away yet.
What about this little puppy? No? Well, well, how am I going to give it to 4 of them?
There's too many. They don't like him.
I think I partly caused that.
Oh look!
Okay with me now. What if they follow us into the music? You got your fish with doing?
Yeah, I have. Morning guys, so today we are going to the beach. We're going along this amazing long causeway, which I think is about 50 kilometers, that goes out to some islands. And on the way we're going to stop at a sugar museum. Let's go have a look. So we're now at the Sugar Museum. We're not going to do the tour because we just want to get to the beach, but we're going to have a bit of a look around and take some pictures, and Dad's an engineer so he can just tell us about the machines anyway.
La voz peninsular, guitarra que al sonar, bajo la luna llena, hasta la Macarena quiere salir a cantar, hasta la Macarena quiere salir a cantar. Soy el dueño del tambor, soy hijo de Chiang Mai.
I would say, as museums go, this one's actually pretty decent because it's very interactive. You can just walk up and touch everything and kind of be in amongst all the machinery. So we haven't seen any plaques. There is a tour, but it mostly seems like a kind of hands-on, just explore all the machines type of museum. Well, we were just about to get back in our taxi when we discovered there's a whole section of old trains as well, which is super cool. So if you're into like machinery, architecture, kind of photography of all the like interesting lines, this museum is just an absolute goldmine. And obviously if you're a train buff, goes without saying. So we've just driven for maybe about an hour along the causeway, which was totally incredible. I mean, how did they build that? I have no clue. I think it's something like 40 or 60 kilometers long. It's absolutely huge. It goes all the way from the mainland over to the Cayos Islands, which is where we are now. A couple of little practical points are that you need to bring your passport to go over the crossing, and also to get onto the beach that we're at now you have to pay $5 each, which is like the entry because they're owned by the all-inclusive resorts.
Soy gitano, soy moreno, soy rumbero, soy torero, soy Colombia, guaguancó.
So, verdict on these beaches are that they are nowhere near as good as Ancon Beach, which we absolutely loved. I will admit I'm a bit of a beach snob because I was raised by the beach and I've been living in Thailand, so I do have pretty high standards, but this one is very windy, there's big waves in the ocean, the sand isn't as good, and I think because it's on the Pacific Ocean rather than the Caribbean, so it's just nowhere near as good. So I would definitely recommend, if you only get time to go to one, to go to Ancon. This is much more people who are at the kind of all-inclusive resorts. So personally, Ancon is my definite favourite, but it does have this awesome Instagram spot. Good morning guys, today we have come to Varadero, which is basically the main beach part of Cuba. It's on the north coast. We're actually staying in a town a little bit outside because we didn't want to stay in Varadero because we heard it would be really touristy and we wanted a bit more of a local experience. But actually so far it looks really lovely here, so I think staying in either would be fine. We just got the bus in, which is 20 pence, and the bus was really nice. It was kind of a posh touristy bus, I think. So we're now in Varadero. We're going to have a bit of a look around. Unfortunately, our beach stint, as you can probably tell, we've come on a cold day, so it's pretty cold today, but we're hoping the clouds will part and the sun will come out and then we can go back to bathing on the beach like proper British tourists. But for the moment it's looking like it might be a bit of a cold beach day. But we do have plans this afternoon to go to the cave, which apparently is very good, and in the winter is maybe too cold to swim, but still is beautiful to see and take pictures of. So that's the plan for the day. So we're in a little like mall, I guess, which is a bunch of kind of open air little shopping mall, and it's so funny to see that you have to queue outside because they only let a certain number of people in the shop. You can only come in one at a time, and it's kind of a one in one out door policy. I don't know whether theft is a big problem, but for whatever reason there's never more than about 5 to 10 people in each store. So we've got the peanuts in a tube that everybody's eating. I think they're probably a bit manhandled, but there we are. Well, it looks like a pretty amazing beach, but I don't think we chose the right day for it. So we had lunch with more live music, and now we're going to head back to get our taxi to the cave. Varadero seems pretty nice. I mean, it's basically just shopping and food and the beach, but in some ways, what more could you want from a holiday? There's a lot of markets, a lot of shopping, and the beach did seem really nice. Obviously it's freezing today, so it wasn't particularly appealing, but in general the beach seemed pretty beautiful. I still think Ancon Beach is the best that we've seen though on the south coast because it was much calmer. It seemed like it had more activities like snorkeling and stuff, although there is a diving school here. But yeah, so Varadero seems pretty good, but now we are going to go to the cave. On a really sunny day, the water in the cave is very, very bright blue, but there are still people swimming today, so I think Mum and Miles might swim, but I think it's going to be pretty cold. So believe it or not, it actually ended up being really warm. So weirdly it looks much more blue on camera even without editing than in real life, but whenever you take photos or video it came out as really amazingly like turquoise blue water. So you only kind of need like 10 minutes here, just a quick dip and that's it. But it was a really cool sight, and it's kind of unique to say you can swim in an underground cave, and there was definitely no element of claustrophobia. There's not many stairs, you're not particularly enclosed, so if you're someone who worries about cave things because you have to crawl through a little hole, there was none of that. It was just really easy, walk down the stairs, you're in a cave. So today is our last morning in Cuba. We're getting on a flight in a few hours, so we're going to quickly run to the beach. We're in a little town just outside of Varadero right now, so it's not at all touristy, and the beach is hopefully going to be deserted. The past couple of days have been a bit cold, so we haven't been able to go, but today the sun is out and we're going to go to the beach. So that is the end of our epic 2-week trip to Cuba. I really hope you've enjoyed it. It's been pretty challenging to film because there's never a quiet moment without wind or animals or cars or music. So I hope that the sound has been okay and that you've enjoyed watching and got some useful tips. It's been a totally magical country and I would definitely recommend that you come visit. Let me know in the comments if you've been or if you're gonna come, and of course don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Have a great week. Bye!